it is Candyce Ayana, your goal setting and vision board coach here. And I wanted to take a couple of moments today because I started doing some gardening. Yes, it's cold here in Atlanta. It is like middle of January and we're supposed to get snow tomorrow, but I am all things gardening right now. In 2020, I started truly gardening, always had a container garden, but expanded it into my yard. My neighbor gave me some boxes and I've been growing lots of things. However, in these cold months, I am planning. And in the planning month, I buy seeds, I sketch my garden, I think about the things that I grew before that worked out really well. I think about things that my daughter could grow on her own and ways for her to get into the dirt and everything. And so while I was doing that, I had this amazing, let's not call it an epiphany, but this movement in my mind and in my thoughts. And it made me happy and giddy because as a vision coach, and as a goal setting coach, everything to me is about vision. Everything to me is about the big picture, about purpose, about why we're really here on this earth. It's not about necessarily getting you out of your 9-to-5 job, but about incorporating your purpose back into your life, because that's what you're created to do. You're created on this earth to do something amazing, to do something special. Might even feel like it's something small, but it's big to someone somewhere. I believe we all have something in us. And so while I was doing my gardening planning, it reminded me of that. Everything for me kind of reminds me of vision and goals, but it reminded me of that. And the more that I garden, the more I learn, hey, if I plan and I prepare, I can set, the things up for success and to get a wonderful yield, but I can also allow for a space where I can cultivate surprises. Last year, I grew some snow peas. I had no idea that you could grow snow peas so doggone fast. And I grew a lot of them. I have them frozen. That's how many I grew. It was just a strip, like a 4-foot strip of dirt in a box. And when I think about that in comparison to goals, I was like, if I plan and I expand that and I take my knowledge, how is the world, how is God, how is life going to surprise me in the spring? It could surprise me and be very interesting and maybe not grow as many, but I'm pretty sure it's going to surprise me and I'm going to get even more than I did this year because I've kind of already experienced that. So nonetheless, I wanted to come to you with some goal care tips. Just like I'm preparing on how I'm going to care for my garden, not just planting it, but how I'm going to tend to it. I think that we need to have goal care tips. You don't just set these goals at the beginning of the year or the end of last year and they're just going to happen. You don't just put them up on a vision board and think, it's up on the vision board, it's just going to happen. Some of the things do work that way. They really do. I've experienced that. But most of the things are going to require some form of planning and some form of care. You guys hear about self-care, you hear about garden care, you hear about child care. Goal care, hello, I am your girl, and I have 4 tips. It may evolve into 5, but it's 4 right now. So the first is to make space to give them your attention, all right? So you've written out the goals, you've put them on a vision board, you probably even have an action plan. If you're one of my clients, you've got an action plan and it is dated and there's a time on that sucker. However, you have now got to make space to give them your attention. So typically what I do is I have a reminder in my phone to give my goals some attention, whether it be something that's a part of the action plan. So a great example in the way of gardening would be I need to water my garden very regularly. I have a little timer that says, hey, go water the garden. This is twice a week. During the summer, it's more. It's almost every day, quite honestly. You want to look at your goals. So maybe during your meditation time or while you're brushing your teeth or in the evening before you go to bed, you want to look at your goals. You want to see them. They should be in a place where you should see them all the time, but you want to see them. You want to write about them. Journal how you're feeling. Don't just write the goal put up the vision board and never express your feelings, express your thoughts about them. Go deep with it. They're your goals. They're attached often to your purpose. Write about it, journal about it, explore. Other things, other ideas are going to come up out of that journaling. You also want to connect with other resources. So gardening. My mother is an amazing gardener. My grandmother is a pretty good amazing gardener. It's something that I'm just taking on in recent years. I am not an amazing gardener, but I have the potential to be. So I lean in on my mom and I'm like, oh, what are some of the things that you think I should add to the garden or I should do differently? Should I move the lemongrass plant? By the way, lemongrass really needs their own space. Just give them their own space. And then I have wonderful books. My big sister bought me an amazing book on gardening that breaks it down bit by bit. I joined a couple gardening clubs because this is about to be on. I'm about to grow all my food and grow all of my ornamentals. Get in the space of researching and being a part of the community of your goals. If your goal is weight loss, join some weight loss communities, and not all that are like just telling you how to lose weight, but that are encouraging you to lose weight, that are talking about the struggles. Next tip, you want to water them with your action. So this is an extension to making space for them. In making space, you're thinking about them, contemplating, being energized by the reminder of them constantly and on purpose. When you're watering them with action, you're about the business of doing, okay? You're doing something, not all the things. You're doing something toward the goal. Weight loss. Today, the one thing that I'm doing towards my weight loss goals, I'm getting these 10,000 steps in. 2 things, I am drinking the disgusting green smoothie, and then I'm gonna drink the really good green smoothie, and I am not gonna eat a donut. I'm not gonna do it. It's just not gonna happen today. I am not gonna do it today. Tomorrow it's supposed to snow, so I might eat a donut. Can't talk about tomorrow. I can only make action for today. Exercise, you need to exercise. Maybe you need to get up to 60 minutes, but maybe you could just do 10 minutes today. Maybe that's all you've got in you. Nourish, you want to add things to nourish the goal with your action, okay? Water, you cannot have a garden without water. You cannot have a certain type of garden without water. You can't have the lush, everything growing. There are very few things on this earth that don't require actual water. I think there's nothing on this earth that can survive without water, including us. Hello, this is your reminder to drink your water. I think we're all supposed to be drinking a gallon. The next thing you want to do is fertilize. So watering and fertilizing is not the same thing, all right? You want to fertilize them with your beliefs. So water is just water. You pour it out. This is your action and your goals. You're doing that. But with that, you want to level it up, miracle grow it. You want to get into a space where you want to put some oomph on that goal. And in our space of goal setting and vision creation, it is belief. So you want to make time, make effort, and make a habit believing the goal. All right. So a very personal goal of mine was that at around in my mid-30s, I prayed a prayer to God and I was like, hey, I want to get married. But if you don't want this for me, I need you to take this desire away. God didn't take the desire away. Cool. So I created a vision board of all the things that I wanted in a marriage and in a spouse. All right. And so made the vision board and I put it up once I decided, okay, God says that he's going to bring this to me. I want to believe this. And I put it in a space of belief. So meaning I made a vision board. When I was in that vision board, just on that thing, I believed it even if just in that moment, I'm getting married and I'm going to marry the person that God wants for me. All right. It might have lasted 5 minutes. It might have lasted a whole day. Either way, I operated in a space of belief for some period of time. All right. Take a block of time, a minute a day, 5 minutes a day, to get in a space of belief. One of the biggest ways that you've heard of and that I am very, very big on is affirmations. That is the space of belief where you are convincing yourself. And then once you convince yourself, you're operating in a space of belief so that you can visualize in your mind and have the experience of the goal realized in your mind through affirmations. I am healthy. I am married. I am a mother. I am a successful entrepreneur. I am a $100,000 a year earner. I am a $1 million a year earner. I am a $97 million a year earner. I am the top of my sales. I'm at the top of my sales in my company. I am the director of the XYZ department. I am a volunteer that volunteers 60 hours of their time. I am the grandmother that supports her grandchildren and her children by picking the kids up from school. I am a happy woman. I am a happy man. Getting into that space of confessing things with your mouth, putting it out there so that your ears hear your voice telling you what you are. All right? We're going to talk more about affirmations this year, so hold on to your seatbelts. We're going to get these affirmations tight, and I've got links below to current affirmations on my page that you can use to say out loud. Right now, they don't have my voice because they are exercises. It's an exercise in you saying the affirmation, okay? So, great way to fertilize your belief, affirmations. The next way that people don't talk about enough because we get so excited about the goal, clean up the goal. All right. Just like in a garden, when you're winterizing your garden, you cut down everything, you mulch it in there, you mix it up so that it can decompose over the winter and so that you can come into your spring garden bed and start planting things. But to plant things, you got to get rid of that old, ugly, stubby, ridiculous stuff that either needs to be fertilizer, put it down to the ground, or quite honestly, it needs to be trash. Okay? There are some of your goals that you need to trash. If you are carrying goals over and over and over again into the next year, and they are looking raggedy, like plants that have not been watered, fertilized, picked, nothing's grown on it, I want you to take those goals and put them on a list. If there's a lot of them, put them on a list and get into a space where you get very real about those goals and if you really want them. All right? And then there are some goals that you're going to look at and know, I don't really want that. I said I wanted to get a certification in this because my manager said I should get it, but I'm really not about that life. So let me take this goal off and let me trash it. When you get rid of goals, when you trash goals that you no longer want, need, truly desire, and the way that you know that is you're not making space for them, you're not making time for them, you're not doing anything towards them. All right? Those are the three big signs that you don't really want those goals. When you get rid of those goals, they do one-ish of two-ish things. They make space for the goals that you do have to move and grow really, really big. Or they make space for new goals to come in and flourish. I'm still learning this, so don't take this as the holy word or anything. But with gardening, there are some things that require one kind of soil and some things that require another type of soil. So orchids, for instance, I do know this. They require like bark and pebbles. They don't need a lot of dense dirt. And they certainly don't need clay like we have here in Georgia. But then there's other types of things like tomatoes that require a dark, earthy, rich, crumbly, dense, water, it'll suck in the water so it can suck it up in the plant type of soil. Maybe the soil that you've got right now is not good for XYZ kind of goal. Hopefully this is not the first time you've heard it, but if it is, let me be a blessing to you in trashing the goal. Get rid of it. Or at the very least, put it on another list and take it out of your space of energy and focus. Okay? Put it on the side or trash it. Do not allow things that you don't truly desire to take up space and put them in the wrong soil. If I put an orchid in dense clay, Georgia red clay soil, the thing is going to die. And then I'm going to say, oh, I'm a failure. Not the truth. This is not the soil. This is not the place for this type of thing to grow. Either I need to work more on myself and become myself or my circumstances, my belief, my thinking, and get into a space where this is where this place is going to grow. Oh my goodness, great example. 10 years ago, someone told me that I should be a life coach. Not someone, one of my besties, Pam, told me that I should be a life coach. I'm looking at her like, girl, I barely know anything about my life. Whose life am I going to coach? All right. Evidence. I did not have the soil to plant life coaching. 10 years fast forward. I've been married. I've had a baby. I've had enough loss. I have had great transition. I have had health things. I have had financial things. I have had house things, weather things. We've had huge endemic things. And so at this time in my life, 10 years later, this soil right here is rich for life coaching. All right. Eddie, when you come in here, it's gonna sprout and grow because the soil of my circumstances, of my belief, of my experience is rich in this space. Now, again, another example of the soil that you're putting things in. Get things out of the soil that don't belong there. Trash that stuff. Just like a garden, you have to weed it out. You got to get the stuff that you didn't plant in there, the dandelion and all that stuff, get it out. And then sometimes your goal is diseased. Maybe there's been a lot of hurt and blockages, betrayal. Like, people don't want to talk about these things, but like, for instance, say you want a particular position at work and there has been so much trauma and drama at work and you just getting another position. You want to go from being an administrative assistant to a project manager, and you've gotten written up for things that you didn't know that you would ever get written up for. Projects have fallen by the wayside, and a lot of it was not your fault, but maybe your stakeholders' fault. All kinds of things have happened, and then you got to stop and say, okay, this goal is diseased. It might be diseased because I'm in a diseased place, or it's diseased because I've got a diseased soil, or it is diseased because it is not the thing. It is not the thing for me in this space of life. It is okay. It is perfectly healthy. No judgment, no good or bad. It is perfectly okay to pull it out and no longer want a goal. All right? It is okay to no longer desire a goal that you once had. I used to want 5 children. I've got 1 little girl. I no longer desire 5 children. Maybe 1 more to give her a playmate. I hear that dogs are great playmates as well. Don't want 5 more kids. And it's okay. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have been devastated. No, I want to have 5 kids. I have to have 5 kids. She's a lot of work. She costs a lot of money. Different soil. I don't know that I've got that much left in me to have 5 kids. Totally okay. So those are our goal care tips for our goals that we are setting, for the things that we put on our vision board, the things that we've got an action plan for. I am so excited to see everything that is going to grow this year from our garden of goals and visions. Please share your goals and visions only with other like-minded people. Don't let folks up in the garden who only believe that food comes from McDonald's. Don't do it. It's a waste of your energy. It's a waste of your time to convince them that these snow peas and this basil and this lemongrass is good for you. If you like the #1 at McDonald's, more power to you. That's the space that you're in. Don't exchange any energy trying to convince people that you're going to achieve these goals. I want you to work at your goals. I want you to give them attention, make space for them, visualize them, journal about them. I want you to water them with your actions. I want you to fertilize them and level up with that belief and with those affirmations. And I want you to clean them up. I don't care if you just wrote all these goals out at the beginning of 2022 and you're like, I want you to go through that list and I want you to clean it up. Nothing wrong with it, okay? No judgment. So make sure that you tune in. We've got wonderful things coming this year, especially in the world of affirmations and more on vision boarding. Thank you for letting me be your vision board coach, and I will be talking to you soon. Take care.